And we're back. Now, I'd better do this before I get shot. She's watching us. It's her birthday today. Amma Konedu of Leighton in London, who's here in Ghana on a holiday. Happy birthday to you. This is from your daughter, Abigail Bruni. Enjoy the day. But it's time now for us to get talking on AM Talk. And Emmanuel Tremantin Ejako is a member of Parliament for Ayawaso West Wuogon, here in the Greater Accra region. He joins us alongside Roxanne Nelson Dafiamepo, who is the MP for South Day. Gentlemen, how nice to see you both. Good morning.
And you too. Good morning.
It's a pleasure to have you. And of course, yesterday, I had a surprise visit from Mr. Tremantin Ejako, who had been watching us in the morning, and wanted to engage us on some important issues he had heard us talk about. It's always a pleasure to have you. That was an interesting engagement.
That's a big man.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Big man. Okay, so
you are bigger than me.
No. Are you so in contest?
Well, one thing you do have in common is that you are both MPs. And yesterday, one of your colleagues suggested that he had been a victim of some subterfuge, that his signature had been acquired under false pretenses, and that he had been tricked into endorsing some call for former President Mahama to run again for the NDC. Did you sign this petition as well?
First of all, let me use the opportunity to say good morning to my constituents in Peki, Kpali, Kpeve, and Tongo. I'll join them tomorrow, hopefully. I'll be there for about 2 weeks to do communal engagement. Yes, indeed, we have a group in Parliament. Our position is very clear to throw our weight behind the candidature of His Excellency, the former President, JDM, if he indeed declares to run again on the ticket of the NDC. So it is not a group with a hidden agenda. This is politics. There's nothing you can do and hide it. We are only surprised that Nabu can claim that somebody procured his signature by fraud. His name is not on that list. His name, I know the list, I've seen the list. We hold our meetings, we hold our discussions, we know what we talk about. Nabu is not one of us. And so when the list came on Thursday, we looked through again, we vetted it, and asked every member to append their signature, as it were, to confirm that you indeed, maybe you may be attending our meetings, but when indeed a matter that you should state your stand publicly, you may seek to withdraw. So Nabu's name is not on the list. I am sure he decided to speak publicly on the matter because he thought that the numbers are enormous.
To be clear,
yes,
Mr. Nabu is not one of the signatories to this, is it a petition? Is that what it is?
It's not a petition.
Okay.
It's just a list of...
It's an endorsement.
It's an endorsement, sort of, a number of MPs.
Right.
And we are endorsing the candidature of His Excellency, the former president.
Who has not announced his candidature.
But I think he has. He has.
He has. So you are telling the people of Ghana right now.
His position is that, yes, there are about 4 other candidates who are going around, who are, as it were, lobbying, campaigning in a subtle way to whip up their support base. He doesn't want to do that. He's interested. He will contest. But he wants the party rules to operate. Because after the regional and the national elections, then the party will come up with modalities to, and he wants to respect that.
So this
but he's made it clear.
This is official, coming from you, a member of this group in Parliament that are putting their weight behind the former president to contest. This is official that he is going to contest.
He'll contest. Right. Just that he's respecting the party structures, that he doesn't want to jump the gun. The party must open the doors. Then he will state his position.
Should your group not also respect the party structures? Isn't it too early to start mobilizing and raising funds for a candidate who hasn't even approached
We
you?
haven't done so publicly. Until Nabu spoke yesterday, these are things we are doing internally. And we have the right to do that. Indeed, our party is campaigning. A lot of people are contesting for various positions. It's all part of the reorganization to take these people out, 2020. So the organization happens at different levels. And so to the extent that in Parliament we are organizing ourselves, because you see, from where we sit, each of us control a certain constituency with a certain number of voter population size. We are on the ground. We gauge the sentiments of the people. Do you understand me? And indeed, given the socio-political dynamics now, we think that John Mahama is in a better position to compete with Nana Addo come 2019, 2020 political fever season. Because you see, then there will be a history to Nana's debate or his rulership. There will be a history to JDM's rulership. So the issue will be, we'll compare achievements, we'll compare policies, we'll look at the demerits and the merits of policies of either of them. And then the voters can be put in a better position to make a better choice between the two.
We'll talk a bit more about Parliament and the 90, is it 92 of you?
We're about 95.
95 of you who have made
Out
this.
of the 106.
Yes, who have made this commitment. It's a large number. Yeah. But I wonder, Mr. Jacko, let's look into the future. Politics is strategy, isn't it?
Yeah.
So naturally,
if I may clarify a small point before Senior comes in. I think Nabu misconstrued a certain list. You know, on the last day, a lot of issues were debated. Then the speaker will tell you, because of the enormity of the business we have, how, and the fact that we have to deal with all of them before we rules, when the motions are tabled, sometimes he took only one from each side or two from each side. Then he will ask leadership to provide the names. I think Nabu volunteered on one of the papers. You know, I'm being frank with you. He wrote his name on one of the papers. It is not that paper that is an issue. What is the issue that he sought to speak to is about our names, the list that we have prepared. He's never on that list. He's never been part of us. So there is no way anybody could put his name on that list and even go ahead to ask him to append his signature. And the list is prepared on regional basis. We call it caucus, from one caucus to the other. So there can be no mistake about it.
So the position of your group on this matter is that Nabu's signature is not with you.
He misfired.
He should go and look for his signature elsewhere.
He misfired completely.
All right. Well, it's turned into the case of the missing signature. But let's look at the political strategy of this from the perspective of the NPP. Obviously, you've looked into the future. You know, there's a contest coming up in 2020, and your largest competitor,
the NPP also did so for Nana Addo.
Right.
When during the 6th Parliament.
Right.
The members in Parliament, they also did so for him.
I wonder about the timing, whether it was similar to yours.
It was.
Long before
declared it was when they were.
That he would...
so eventually, nobody had to contest him.
Right.
You know, when they saw the numbers from...
So that's the strategy you are adopting?
Well, it worked for them, so why wouldn't it work for us?
Okay. So looking into the future, Mr. Jacko, in 2020, do you reckon that the NPP would prefer President Akufo-Addo to go up against John Mahama or a new face? Which one, in terms of strategy, would be a better outcome for the NPP?
Well, thank you for having me this morning. And let me use this. Good morning to both of you.
Good morning to you too.
Viewers, most especially those in my constituency. Let me also use this opportunity to wish my professional grouping, the Pharmaceutical Society of Ghana, a happy annual general meeting in Ho. It is from today until Sunday. It is always great pleasure to be there. After this, I'll go to Ho to join them. Once a pharmacist, always a pharmacist. One day when I stop doing frontline politics, I'll go back to
the counter.
Yes, to the counter.
And dispense.
Yes. To both NDC and MPP customers.
Oh yes, that's what that business.
Well, ordinarily, for the things that are happening with Nabu and everybody in Nabu and my very dear friend Kwashiga and all, it is their what's the one for some? Politics is essentially building alliances, and so it's okay. I mean, I am not aware. He says that we did the same thing in Parliament. No, we never issued a statement in the 6th Parliament. But I think that in the run-up to 2016 election, it was obvious that the clear choice of the party was Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. It was without controversy. I can't speak for NDC. My sense is that he will win the primaries anyway. Maybe why they are trying to do this is to show off everybody from Dr. Spielgabra and
Honorable Bagbin,
Sly Mensah, Professor Alabi, and probably Professor Boche. He has not stepped in, but I think that all of this is a certain game plan to tell everybody that don't dare. We have the numbers. We have. I think it's just a strategy they are adopting. Will it work? I can't speak for the NDC. But from where I sit, I think that most probably, former President John Dramani Mahama will win the NDC primaries. And then we will have a contest in 2020. I am very comfortable about President Mahama coming back. I am extremely comfortable. I think one NDC commentator stated somewhere that maybe what they should have looked at is to look for a new person in a certain mold. Okay, let's face it. What will President Mahama come to tell anybody? What new will he come to tell anybody? He had opportunity for 4 years. What is he coming to tell anybody? Just 2 days ago or so, at Mills Memorial Lecture, Professor Boche was explicit. He said he gave causes why this election was lost. It is there. It is evident. Okay. So he talked about selfishness and greed and all of those things.
A lack of integrity and honesty.
Lack of integrity. It goes with the name. It goes with the person. It goes with the situation. So I will tell you, from our side, it's okay. Let former President John Dramani Mahama come back. Sometimes I feel sorry for NDC as a party. I was hoping that this is just my thoughts. I was hoping that they probably would have found, like somebody described, a person in a mold of Martin Amidu, somebody who stands very tall. You can't point a finger at him. He would lose 2020, but he would have put himself in some, I won't even say pole position, but he would have put himself in a better position in the run-up to 2024. But this one, let him come. Let us see what happens. I think that the good people of this country know what to do when it matters most.
You're not concerned that the people of Ghana may vote for whomever the NDC puts up simply as a gesture of rejection of the MPP if they are not happy with your performance?
So we are mindful. I mean, really, for me, I think that I will be happy if our politics move away from anything else to and it's merit based. I will be extremely happy. At the moment, there's too much of the man comes from here. This is my relative, and a certain amount of money. I will be happy. We will begin to look at manifestos and what was achieved. We promised this. Have we been able to achieve this? Okay. You always draw a baseline. When I came, this is what I met. Out of this, I promised this, I promised that, I promised this. Let us even quantify all the things that we promised and we have achieved. And compare. Let me say, in 2008, in 2012, and in 2016, what we campaigned on were essentially the achievements of the MPP when it was in government between 2001 and early 2009. Okay. Similarly, what will NDC campaign on in 2020?
2020, yeah.
Oh, only from 19, from next year.
Okay.
Things will begin to heat up. I'm sure a year from today, there will be about 1.5 years to the elections.
Very well.
So
it's okay when you are in opposition. At least in my party too. When you are in opposition, you elect your candidate about 2 years before. Yeah. So I expect that in 2019, most probably, ex-former President Mahama will be NDC candidate, and he will hit the
road running.
But like I said,
ground running, yes. But
you hit the ground running. You hit the ground running. But like I said, his themes will be, when I was president, these are the things I achieved. We will compare with the 4 years of the Akufo-Addo administration. I can completely agree. People will look at what we have done. I believe that we have a splendid story to tell.
I think that is a great segue into yes. I have a feeling you seek to respond to this. So perhaps I'll hold my next question, which would have taken us to the next issue. Okay. But well, clearly they don't fear who.
You see, it's not about. And I can understand when you are in government, you feel like the ex-president, His Excellency President Kufuor said, power has a way of playing tricks on you. So you feel. Very powerful, infallible.
Like John Mahama did in 2016.
Oh, well, I don't know about that. But the issue is this.
Roxanne,
when you are in government.
Roxanne, why do you want to apply President Kufuor's standard?
No, you feel very confident, and it's always good to feel like that.
And he's asking you, did President Mahama feel the same way? Now you are beginning to say you don't
feel
know.
confident.
Yes. Oh, so Roxanne.
Comfortable lead.
Yes, and all that. But the point is this. You see, this is a competition that both sides have become well versed in, you know. But I'm happy on the note that he concluded that hey, the two of them will now pitch their policies, their achievements against each other for the people to be able to decide between the two which of them should we move ahead with. The decision will be made.
Certainly.
You know, but it is not to say, what's happening is not to say that, like he said, it's an attempt to shove off or to dismiss the other interested aspirant. No, at all. I am rather of the view that because constitutionally he has one more term to serve, we shouldn't, as a party, waste resources. Hold on.
Sorry, I just needed to correct. It's not that he has one more term to serve. It's just that he is allowed
He's
to serve
eligible.
one more term.
Well,
if he wishes.
It is not a prerogative.
It
It is
has
not
one more term. It sounds like we owe him another term. You know, as a nation.
What you want to say is that he's eligible.
He's eligible to stand for one more term.
Okay.
So we should allow him to do.
Yes.
We should give him the opportunity.
Why not? Why? Nana contested 3 times. There were people in the MPP that thought that after the second time, he ought to give way.
Will he also not be eligible for another term in 2020?
No, hold on. Of course. But his slogan, I mean, before he was voted into office 2 years ago, his slogan was that, no, give me a final opportunity. To the extent that he added that, try me. Not to his party people, because they have tried him. But now to the generality of the people, he said, we've tried a lot of people. Try me too. We have tried him. We are seeing the results. So that is no longer in doubt. So we are rather of the opinion that for the resources that will be expended on the individual internal flag-bearership campaigns, we should rather rally, because every single one of them served under JJM. Indeed, for Professor Bochwe to say, or to list a litany of factors that led to our downfall, I was of the view, yes, our downfall, I was of the view that you led the nationwide inquiry into the reasons. So you are already versed with that. But I expected him to use the opportunity to rather analyze the performance of this government. It didn't happen. All right? And you serve under the man. So if you say that we lost because of broken integrity, did Professor Bochwe at any time resign from his position in government?
But is it Professor Bochwe who made these findings, or is it the people of the NDC?
No, he led he led a committee. So the committee is called the Bochwe Committee.
Yes. And they made findings.
And they went out.
Hold on, Honorable. You have made the findings. You submitted your report to the party. The party is working towards your recommendations based on the findings.
Yes.
Do you have to go to Cape Coast 1 year down the line to repeat them? That's my position.
You feel he somehow did damage to the party by...
Yeah, because it is most unnecessary. It is avoidable. We don't need it anymore because we have moved on from there. We are rebuilding.
Do you think the people at the grassroots who gave him this feedback will be pleased to hear you say that what they said is no longer relevant?
I am not saying it is not relevant. It is relevant because you did so by a finding of fact. And based on those findings of fact, you have recommended things to the party to do. And those things, the party is implementing them.
Are you?
We are.
I see.
No, indeed. In fact, as part of the reorganization, we've done a lot of things. The party is more invigorated than before.
But how are the people at the grassroots supposed to know this if it's not communicated?
No, because we do. We are the MPs. We are working the grounds. As I speak to you, there are a lot of measures and activities and programs going on in my constituency, for instance, and every MP has been taxed. So in those constituencies where we are orphaned, others have been taxed to implement those projects and programs. And they're ongoing. Quietly, you may not know. So my humble position was that it was needless of him to use the Professor Mills Memorial Lectures to restate those points.
Well, he's never stated them. So
no, he has.
You mean to the party?
Not
he has never stated them to the public.
Not to the party. We heard a lot of
when the Bochwe report came and it was being serialized.
Yes.
You denied with vehemence that it was not so.
Oh, we told you that nobody.
This is the first time I am.
Hold on.
Okay, I'll come back to that.
I hope I have opportunity. No, the party issued executive summary. The party didn't deny issuing executive summary of the report. What you were seeking to do, were you the one serializing or it was Daily Guide? You see?
It was actually several media houses, including
and ours. They were serializing things touching on the actual report. And we said that nobody, not even me, where I've never cited the actual report. It's about 450 to 500 pages report, voluminous. And we are saying that that report is in the bosom of the General Secretary and perhaps the Chairman. It's only the executive summary that's available to everybody else.
Well, actually, what you said was that you will not confirm that what we are stating in the public domain is actually from the report.
Yes, and what Professor Butchie said 3 days ago is contained in the executive summary. And that's what I'm saying. It is not something...
Then there's nothing wrong with him stating it, is there?
But I am saying, it appears you are not getting the essence of my complaint. My plaint is that he led the committee of inquiry. You know the factors. 1 year down the line, don't go and rehash it. We have moved on as a party.
So do you think this has cost
the party? No, he's taking us back. I think we are now assessing the reasons why we failed. No, you led the assessment. You have given us the facts based on the things you found. You have given us recommendations. We are implementing the recommendations.
So did he say that you are not implementing these recommendations?
No, he made the point. If you listen to the lecture, he spoke as if we didn't do any assessment, as if he's now analyzing the factors why we lost. And I'm saying it is out of context. Right. 1 year down the line. And finally, he says that what will Mahama be telling the people when he comes back? We'll be telling the people that when we told you that free SHS cannot be wholesomely implemented, he was right. When we tell you that when we implement the free SHS not in a progressive manner, we will have difficulties, he was right. When we tell you that the hospitals that we have built, they will not come and operationalize them, he was right. When we tell you that infrastructure is key to our socio-political and economic development, he was right. Because you see, on Saturday, we had to approve $500 million for them to undertake massive infrastructure development. Today, they told us we are not eating infrastructure, but they have now gone around full circle. Yes, you told us. Is it infrastructure that will eat? We won't eat roads. They have realized that infrastructure is key to our industrialization. So he was right.
Interesting.
Can I?
Yes. Very quickly before we move on to the other issue. Yes, a minute.
A couple of things just crystallized from what he's saying. Number one, it is evident that what they are trying to do is to avoid a primaries. I think so. No. I think that this is a desperate...
But you avoided primaries, didn't you?
We had primaries.
Did you?
Yes.
Who contested, Nana?
Oh, have you forgotten?
Alan
Adanimo, Jogate.
This 2015.
You are suffering from selective amnesia, my friend.
Okay.
You are selecting from selective amnesia.
There were primaries.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think what they are, maybe what happened...
We are not avoiding primaries.
What happened between Professor Atta Mills and Nana Kunedu Ajimai Rawlings still gives them nightmares. And they are trying to avoid...
games.
they are doing their best to avoid a situation like this. But I have heard people like the former NHI boss, Sylvester Benson. He has stated categorically that come 2019 he will be the
flag bearer.
The flag bearer.
But do you go into a contest and devalue your chances? Nobody.
I am saying this is a desperate attempt from a group of desperate people trying to avoid primaries. That is why they are. He's saying that we have already sold this man. He has one more term. Why don't we just galvanize around him and give him the chance?
That is my humble opinion.
That is the thinking of the group.
That is my humble opinion.
That is the thinking of the group. All they are trying to do is they just want to avoid. They know that when this thing opens up, you will open up a can of worms. And that is just what they are trying to avoid.
What kind of worms?
Secondly, on Professor Butchie, we all lived. These people, they think we forget. When we began to talk about the issues in Professor Butchie's report, they shoot everybody. No, it's not true. Nobody has seen it. So the man who for 6 months went around, he has no right to publicly announce. No, I think that you would have been better off then.
I am not saying he has no rights. I am saying the time in 1 year down the line. He's not speaking as if
Have you ever given opportunity?
Right. Who denied him the opportunity?
When we lost elections in 2008,
nobody
when we lost elections in 2008,
yes,
we did a similar thing. It was in the public domain. We spoke about it and changed constitution and all of those.
Is their prerogative?
It is their prerogative. I agree. I agree. They don't have to be like us. That is why they are NDC and we are MPP.
Indeed.
We must.
We are not
indeed,
like
they can't be like us.
You can't be like us.
They can't.
We are bigger
It's
than
not in their wildest dreams.
We are bigger than you. You can't be like us.
You know, here we are, but then the last is they go back to the issues. When they told us that free SHS is not possible, look, I am telling you.
We didn't say it is not possible. We said it should be progressively done. Ensure that you have adequate infrastructure.
I am saying that in this, are we going to come back to this matter?
Former President Mahama also said that it cannot be implemented the way they said.
President, they said that
the way they told us that they would do it.
Yes, so that's what
are we not doing it?
No.
Yeah, I'm
my daughter, I keep saying this. My daughter is informed too.
Yes.
We pay fees. I pay her feeding fee.
Yes. But we started from a certain...
No, but she's in SHS.
Okay,
you said SHS will be host of Form 1 to 3.
So you accept that the NDC said they can't do it? That's what he said.
No. We said progressive. So what they have done is progressive. Partial implementation.
You tickle yourself.
No.
You tickle yourself.
If you can round up that point quickly and we move on.
Oh, well,
implementation.
Well, they'll talk about, they said, infrastructure. I remember very clearly. President Mahama has a brother. In the last days, when it was evident that they had lost, he said that, oh well.
The election you won, you were surprised yourself.
Oh, who said?
Yes.
He said I remember. I don't know whether it's I don't need to mention his name, but he was on record as saying, if it doesn't work, we tried to provide infrastructure. If it doesn't work, then we will go back to farm in Kintampo or somewhere like that.
Really?
Oh yeah.
So?
Yeah. Yes. But which nation does not need infrastructure? We begin to talk about the infrastructure. I am saying
your party made it appear
nobody. No, this party has never.
You did.
This party has never. I mean, otherwise, why would we go and look for? How would we go and look for the butter to do infrastructure?
Because you suddenly realize that you need it.
No.
You suddenly realize that it's important.
Suddenly.
Yes.
You are funny.
2 years into you realize
you are really funny.
Right. Yes. Speaking of sudden realization.
You are really funny.
I think some Ghanaians are suddenly realizing that the one district, one factory initiative may not actually be seen in this 4-year term of President Akufo-Addo. This is according to the senior minister, who has said that there are about 50 companies ready to go by the end of this year. However, it is not likely that every district is going to have a factory by the end of this 4-year term. But let's be clear, this was a campaign promise written down in your manifesto.
I am the first, boss, I am the first person to admit that it might be impossible to have
265 or 58.
How many?
I think 258 now.
I am the first person to admit that it may not be possible to have 250. I'm the first person to admit.
So should you perhaps not have promised that?
Oh, why shouldn't we? You see, I think what is important is to put it in context. The ideal thing is that the minimum is that there should be one. If there is more than one, it is very fine.
So good, yeah.
Why not? It is a target we have set for ourselves.
Not a promise now, a target.
Oh no! In a manifesto, we promised we will do this. But when you have promised,
but now you have the money, so it becomes a target.
Then it becomes a target that you must work at.
I agree with you.
Look, let me tell
No
you.
longer a promise, a target.
I said
Now it's
we
a target.
promised. It's a promise. When you don't have, when you launch a manifesto, we promise we will do this. Now that we are in government, it is a target we must work at. Okay. Let me tell you, I will be extremely delighted, and I believe the good people of this country will be extremely delighted if at the end of President Akufo-Addo's first term, there are 50 factories we can point at. In where I come from, I am involved. I am not involved financially. I am not an owner of it. Let me put out this disclaimer. But I am involved trying to help a businessman there who is working very hard, assiduously at starting one. He has gotten the site. He's gotten the drawings. He's even gone to China to look at the machines and all of this. I will be delighted if there is a factory in Asisawa. It hasn't happened before. And the good people there will clearly understand how I wish there were 250. But I believe that the Ghanaians will be happy if they see 50. Ghanaians will be happy if they see 60. It will motivate them. It will point out to them that these people deserve our vote.
So shouldn't you have, under-promised and over-delivered?
Well,
isn't that a better way of securing the confidence of the public?
It is, yeah, but you see, when you talk about one district, one factory, it is one of the many promises. But we will wave the flag. We promised we will do free SHS. It is incontrovertible. It is here. Tell me, which one again?
Let me ask this question. I've wanted to ask somebody,
Yes.
for somebody in government for a long time. This apparent constant reversion to free SHS.
Yes.
Even when we're talking about things that have nothing to do with free SHS, we hear government coming back to hit on it.
Yeah.
Is this a make or break thing for you? Are you hinging your entire
Look, let me tell you.
electoral
Let me tell you.
fortunes
Let
in
me tell you.
2020 on free SHS?
Let me tell you, it is not. It has nothing to do with just being an elections winner. It has everything to do with the development of this country. It has
mentioned it a lot.
absolutely everything to do with the development of this country. It is not. We don't look at it as a mere election winner. No. The development of this country is inextricably intertwined with the ability of every Ghanaian child to have basic education. What we have done is that we have redefined what basic education is. In Kwame Nkrumah's time, basic education was middle school leaving certificate. Along the line, it moved to junior high school. Today, when you look at the factors, nobody gets a job with a JHS certificate. Nobody. You can't go to training college. You can't go to nursing school. You can't go to university. You can't do. At the time you finish JHS, to all intents and purposes, you are a minor. You are not even permitted to work.
I feel I should draw your attention to the fact that this is a debate we've had over and over. Nobody currently disagrees with the value of having free SHS.
Yes. So
the question I'm asking
in the implementation. Yesterday I was hearing you talk about implementation with Professor
Adai Mensah.
Yes. What me in my own house, when I set out to do something and I have an implementation plan, there will be challenges. You will adjust. But the fact that there are challenges doesn't mean that we throw up our hands in the air. For me, let the good people of this country decide which is better. To have 200,000 children not have opportunity to go to school, or to have 200,000 children have opportunity to be in school. Call it multi-track. I have stated, and I want to repeat what His Excellency the President said when he was in Ghana National. when Prime Minister Nkrumah decided to do accelerated education, it was, you know, sometimes I hear things and you didn't think about it, and you didn't, who says it is evident? Who says that nobody thought about it? You think that we will...
I was hoping we wouldn't go back there. But
I am saying that
but just
when
before,
when Prime Minister Nkrumah decided that he will have accelerated education, there were no schools. At that time, I don't think that there were more than 16 training colleges.
Even secondary schools.
That is how come the shift system came in. Today, the products of the shift system justifies what Prime Minister Nkrumah did. There were pupil teachers. They were not trained teachers. They were pupil teachers. People who finished from 5. And sometimes they had even just finished middle school living certificate. But they were all drafted to teach. I don't believe it's an absolute truism. But there is some truth in it. The end will always justify the means.
Well, you see, in just a moment, because you brought up this free SHS thing, I thought we would talk about other things today, but this is really important. This issue of whether or not it was thought through, you see, it keeps coming up, and there is a reason why it's important, okay? At this point, where we are 2 months to September, I think it's arguable that, look, there's no other option. It has to be this double track system if every JHS graduate is going to make it into SHS. It looks like this is the only way forward. But the fact that we are, as a nation, hearing about it in August, or actually July, when it is to be implemented in September, indicates to me that certain mathematics were not done at the very beginning. They were done later in the process. Because
I disagree.
Because if your plan was to implement free SHS for everybody who completes JHS to have the opportunity to go to SHS, then somebody ought to have figured out at the very beginning that, okay, in the year 2018, the second year, there you go, the second year of implementation, this number of people will graduate. Therefore, we will have to provide space for that number of people. And under our current infrastructural provision, we don't have enough spaces. So we will either have to go for a multi-track system, or perhaps we'll have to start implementing SHS a bit later so that we can build the infrastructure for them. Someone should have done that maths at the very beginning so that it's not in July that parents, teachers start to hear that from September, their entire lives will be different. Their children's timetable will be different. They will have to plan their entire lives differently around a new semester system. Teachers are going to have to figure out how they will, all of this shouldn't have become, news to them so close to implementation, should it?
I don't completely agree with you on the matter. Let me ask you. I'm assuming you have a wife.
I will allow your...
assuming your wife is pregnant and goes out to have a baby. Even the scan will tell you, oh, you have a twin. And you prepare for a twin. And then at delivery, you have triplets. What really?
So you calculated a certain number of graduates
the
in 2018.
I am saying that
the number magically increased.
No.
Okay.
No.
All right.
I am saying that when you are confronted with an exigency, you take the necessary steps.
True. But should this have been an exigency?
Why? This is why I am saying maybe we should find out from the ministry. I don't work in the ministry. Maybe you should find out from the ministry. Are we saying that they had no forethought at all? Do you think that this sprang on them as a surprise? No, I don't think so.
But it sprang on us as a surprise. Why?
Well, we will need to find this out. But I cringe when I hear people talk about they didn't plan. Who says?
There isn't evidence of planning, is there?
Look, let me tell you. The new schools that were built by President Mahama has created space for 13,200.
Yes, the 40 schools.
The 40 schools.
Okay, it's 49.
49.
It
Maybe this year it will go to. But even the 49.
40 and 50.
Yes.
I am even being charitable.
No, it's 49.
You want me?
I have the names. It's 49.
You are being. I want to be charitable. If you take it to be 50, let's say has created space for 13,200. Assuming President Mahama could fulfill his promise to the good people of this country and build a 200. If you do the ratios, if it was 40, it was even 65,000. But if it is 50, it is less. Assuming he built it, we would have created space for another 50,000. So you see, assuming he finished it.
So it's his fault?
I am not saying it is fault.
Okay.
I am saying that the issues about luck and all of this will not finish today. That is why this multi-track system is not a trademark. It is something that has been going on in some other jurisdictions because they are faced with the same exigency. Has it produced people in those, has it turned out educated people in those jurisdictions? Yes. Similarly, I say that in this country, this is not new. We have gone through in the late 50s. And I say again that the evidence is that the people that did the shift. Today, when you go to Kolebu, you find some doctors, you will find some pharmacists, you will find some lawyers, you will find some teachers, you will find some bankers. Probably if it didn't happen, they would be nowhere near there.
Mr. Dafemako.
Yes, Kojo, thank you. I have listened to my senior. For the first time, is laboring to analyze.
Laboring?
Yes, you labored.
Really?
You know why?
I'm surprised.
I don't know whether he has seen, but ask him whether he has seen the policy guidelines on the free SHS. It's not available. Roland and I, a year ago, me and Kwejo Okon.
I beg you, call your back room,
hold on,
and ask them to ask the ministry.
Hold on. We demanded for the policy when they were about to roll it out. August like this. We were assured that even MPs will be furnished with copies. As we speak, I haven't seen the policy.
I have one.
Now they told us
I'll give it to
good.
you.
They told us that every program will be assessed. That's why they have a PPME unit. The assessment and the evaluation will be done after 1 year. I want to believe that they have done the assessment. That is why they are springing the shift system on us. The difficulty is that they are struggling to feed the numbers in the boarding house. So they must reduce. The policy that they introduced brought a 75% admissions for day students. Under the policy, they skewed admissions towards day. That is why you can find somebody from Paga who will be admitted to Insign, a 13-year-old, but she's admitted as a day student, so she must look for accommodation in Takrady or Insign or Fijai. The program they intend to introduce is as a result of the difficulties they are having with the implementation of the free SHS. So for me, it is not ingenious, it's a disingenuous way of cutting down the numbers. What they should be doing is to introduce a further policy. They are citing Canada, they are citing US, they are citing Australia. Japan doesn't run the system anymore, but they are citing it.
They used to.
Good.
They used to.
We will
do this. We will do this and stop at a certain point in time.
Honorable. In US, there's a policy that you don't walk more than 2 blocks. That's half a kilometer to access secondary education. Do that. You understand?
It's not true.
Say that.
It's not true. Even in the US,
you give an address. If your address is outside of
in the US, it's not true.
It is.
It's not.
It is so in Canada.
You can find these things out.
It is so in Japan. That is why now we are in an information age. That is why I'm saying the system is convoluted. For instance, in my district, South Dine, say that in South Dine, when you finish GSS in South Dine, there are 4 secondary schools. Attend the secondary schools in South Dine. Then you'll be reducing some of the problems you are encountering.
But look, we are 2 months to implementation. So
But
rather
a
than
month.
criticizing,
No,
a month,
a
yes.
month.
So
But
rather than
You see,
criticizing,
you come from South Africa, but you decided to go to Mali.
Yes.
You decided to go to
Yes.
Mali. So you don't want somebody from Togo to go to Mali.
Oh, that is not.
Permit-
you have brought a
permit
policy,
the point.
and you
Yeah,
are saying
come
when
on.
I was admitted to Mali school, I was admitted to boarding house. In fact, I was written to. Now you are taking people forcibly.
No.
That I am transferring you. I am admit you come from Paga, or you come from Pekia Vetile, but I am taking you to GSTS in Takrady, 30-year-old. Instead of putting you in the boarding house, I am
Okay,
making
just people are not 13 years old.
Why? Who
we are
says?
1 month. We are 1 month to
But so
September.
they haven't
Is there a
conducted
better
state-
option?
Hold on.
Is there
Yes,
a better
there's a
option?
better option.
What
than
is the better
double
option?
trap? What is
The
it?
better option is that.
What is the option?
Hold on. Complete the 150 e-blocks. Complete
You
them.
don't have,
Between
you don't
now
have
and
150.
Hold
September.
on. We
You
have
don't have 150.
Oh, why?
Permit
You
me,
started
between now and
123.
September.
Yes. No. That is what I'm saying. You see, when they began the policy last year, and the problems, the teaching problems were emerging, they ought to have had a fallback plan. That space would be, because Kojo, all from about 2010, admissions or the numbers that the JSS were rolling out were ever increasing.
But we can't unring the bell. We are here now.
I am not
So
doing
what
so.
do you do?
I am
You do.
saying that what they ought to have done, even with this system that they intend to introduce, is to engage the teachers much earlier, engage the stakeholders much earlier. As we speak, they haven't engaged secondary school teachers.
It's not true.
Why? You haven't.
It is not true.
Why? I have a secondary school in my village. You haven't engaged them.
We spoke to some
They
teachers.
have only engaged headmasters.
Yes.
Why?
We spoke
Are
to some
headmasters the
teachers who said that the headmasters have briefed them.
How? Briefing?
So
How would the headmaster brief you on
and
this
when you
system?
say engage, it means that you.
Yes.
How many people do you have in your constituency?
If you say how many people,
Yeah,
what do you mean?
voter population.
Voter population 35,000.
So
General population 70,000.
you have to be realistic.
No,
In
I
any
am being
case,
realistic.
You see
And let me
that
tell
they
you
don't.
one more
It
thing.
doesn't even happen.
No, why?
I
Let me
sat
tell
here
you
and
one
did the
more thing.
calculation.
One more thing.
I said assuming
It
this,
is not-
assuming
the
that
calculation-
200.
This is
the calculation you
exciting,
did-
but we will have
the
to
calculation
continue
you did was
another time.
assuming
the
Because
e-blocks take-
right now,
the
as we
e-blocks take
speak,
3,000
Mamabi
on the
Owusu
average.
Abuaji
It takes
is
3,000.
standing by
There are
to
some
have
schools
a
here, it takes
fascinating
3,000
conversation
schools, it takes
with
3,000. You are
Mene
using
Donko, who
using
runs
BEC
Miss Universe.
to still see
But
the
for now,
number.
it
People
has
are
been
very busy.
Emmanuel Chairman
And you are
Chingejaku,
saying that
Member of
you are still
Parliament
giving
for Ayawaso West
opportunity
Wuogon.
to everybody
He's been
to
here
access
with
secondary
Roxanne
education.
Nelson
When the
Dafiamefo,
person fails
who's an MP
BC,
for
where is
South
he going?
Bay. And this conversation will continue
The person has
long
failed
after
BC. You are saying that
Mamabi
you can't
takes
access
over.
secondary education.
She
My
comes
friend.
on
And
with
you
a
are saying that
conversation
you
with
are
Mene
doing
Donko,
activity.
who currently runs
You talk about
the
progressive.
Miss
So you don't care
Universe
about those that are
pageant
sitting
right
down.
here
That's
in
shame.
Ghana. She won it in 2004 and has not departed from it. Let's hear her thoughts on beauty pageants, especially in light of the recent resignation
You are using
of Miss
BC. You know how
Ghana
you hold this.
from the
You know
position
the
she won
percentage.
last year.
That's also
Stay
about-
tuned for that.
They are busy.